Memphis 9th District Congressman Steve Cohen says the government shutdown has created a constitutional crisis. Cohen met briefly with reporters at his Memphis office this morning before he headed back to Washington. Fox 13's Les Smith was downtown as the congressman had some choice words for Republicans. Les is in the studio now with more. Hey there, Les.
Throwing the zingers, Burl. If at first you don't succeed, if you're Memphis 9th District Congressman Steve Cohen, you and your Democratic colleagues keep pitching for a settlement of the federal government shutdown. But as he explained to a group of reporters, Cohen and the Democrats are still serving up goose eggs in the face of staunch Republican opposition. Before jetting back to Washington, D.C. to face more legislative gridlock, Memphis 9th District Congressman Steve Cohen used a short Monday news conference to verbally blast away at his Republican colleagues over the federal government shutdown as it engages in a second week of stalemate. Cohen describes Republican efforts to repeal parts of, if not all, of the Affordable Health Care Act has created a constitutional crisis.
This method of trying to abolish a law through the budget process or through a continuing resolution is not part of what the Constitution says is how you pass a law.
Cohen says Democrats tried 7 times last week to pass a resolution appropriating $986 billion to sustain the majority of government operations. However, Republicans tabled the legislation every time without a vote. Cohen, who joined more than 130 legislators in not accepting a salary during the shutdown, says while the joint passage last week of a measure to give back pay to furloughed federal employees after the shutdown is over was the fair thing to do, he says it only adds to the confusion.
It's not their fault, and they have bills to pay eventually, and they shouldn't be punished. But to pay people and not allow them to work, pay people not to work, this is the height of folly.
Cohen noted the resolution, $986 million in funding favored by the majority of Democrats and President Obama, is the same dollar figure as proposed by Republican leader Paul Ryan in his budget proposal. He says Democrats have made painful concessions already that will affect Head Start, women and children's programs, and veterans. With another major crisis dead ahead in the form of the debt ceiling debate, Cohen believes the Tea Party faction of the GOP is looking for a way out of the quagmire.
They have this idea that if they can put the budget, the continuing resolution with the debt ceiling, that maybe they can get something out of it. They want to get something to save face.
As for the man some feel is stuck in the middle of the shutdown, House Speaker John Boehner, Cohen has few words of consolation for the Ohio Republican.
I think that Speaker Boehner and leadership are an oxymoron. He is not leading. He is concerned about his speakership. There's a time when the country's more important than your speakership.